Is Felger and Mazz your favorite afternoon show?
Yes, 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 yes.
Felger and Mazz.
Durant struck out, but a wild pitch puts him at first. He leads again in a 2-2. Ground ball to second. Keyshaw flips to second for one on the first for the double play. That will end the ball game. 4-6-3. Minnesota rallies from a 4-0 deficit in the first inning. Red Sox get 6 runs at Fenway tonight. Can't win the game.
Oh, we didn't see many of these this year. You're right. The offense not done enough, especially the way they've been throwing the ball here lately. Comes down to that bullpen again. Slayton was so good. Couple of home runs in that 7th. Gave up 4. There's something we hadn't seen from this team. This loss kind of hurts here to start this homestand.
It does, because of the way the game began for the Sox. They were sitting pretty after an inning.
Red Sox played 3 against the Minnesota Twins. That was the series opener on Friday night, which I would say was the biggest debacle of the weekend, but they were all debacles, which we'll get to momentarily. Michael Holley's alongside. Jim Murray's here as well. Reentry Tuesday, when it comes to plumbing, heating, and air, no one compares to Blue Bear. When you call Blue Bear, you can expect expert service from their friendly staff for all your heating and plumbing services. For more information or to book your appointment today, visit bluebearplumbing.com. So here's what I want to say.
Beyond the debacle,
I really have a question for Jim Murray, because last Friday Murray was talking about the Red Sox and defiantly said, "Talk to me when they start beating good teams. If they get through the Braves and they have a good homestand and they win 2 or 3 series in a row, then I'll get on board. I'll believe." That was Murray's general take. I just want to see whether Murray wants to gloat a little or whether he feels vindicated.
No, I feel vindicated because I know they suck. And I'm glad they got swept this weekend because, I hate the ownership. I hate the direction of the franchise. I don't think it's going to change. So what I want them to do, lose. Keep losing. Get swept by the likes of the Twins, and they did. So good. Yeah, pat on the old back for me. I got it right.
I'm glad they got swept.
Yeah, and I hope they get swept by the Braves.
Michael?
They'll probably lose 2 out of 3 to the Braves. All right, look. Murray's right. They got to beat good teams. And I thought they didn't necessarily have to do that to be competitive this year, because what they did, and what they've done a couple of times this year, they did it against the Tigers, where they swept them, and they did it against the Royals, where they swept them. These are bad teams. You sweep them. So if you can beat the teams that you're supposed to beat and just kind of hang around, lose 2 out of 3 to the teams that are much better than you, you know what that means? In September, you're in a playoff race. But they're just not that. They're not even that team, because the Twins came into the series. The Twins are not a good team. And you have the Twins at home, and the Red Sox aren't a good team at home. As you know, Mazz, this drives me crazy. The Boston Red Sox, even when they have mediocre teams, should be good at home because they have a quirky ballpark. And if you have common sense, you build your team around the quirky ballpark that you have, and you're good at home, and on the road, maybe you struggle because you don't have the comforts at home. But these guys are so smart. They're so much smarter than you, Mazz. They're so much smarter than you, Murray, that they have decided they've got a huge wall in left field. It's a huge wall. It's 300 feet away from home plate, but they don't have anybody who can hit the wall.
So let's ignore it.
Yeah, we don't want to build a team. We want to build a run prevention team. We don't want a big lug, a right-hander who can pull the ball to left field, hit it off the top of the wall. You don't have to hit it out. Hit it off the top of the wall, easy double. They don't do that. It is the weirdest thing. So last year they were good at home. The year before, bad at home. This year, disastrous at home. You mentioned a debacle. That's the debacle.
Do you know they're
Red Sox at home?
Do you know they're the worst home team in baseball? They have the worst home record in the entire major leagues. The entire sport, they have the worst home record. And for years, opponents were intimidated coming into Fenway Park because you had to pitch to that lineup in this ballpark, and it's an offensive type of ballpark, obviously. It's not a home run ballpark, it's a doubles ballpark.
And triples.
Extra base hits ballpark. It's a good hitting ballpark. And the Red Sox are doing nothing in there. So let me just add, it is re-entry, which means we'll engage you on anything and everything. We're going to get to the Patriots later on. They start OTAs tomorrow. Mike Vrabel scheduled to speak tomorrow at 11:30. We'll also get to some of the hockey. There was one fabulous game there were a couple of fabulous games over the weekend. I thought the Vegas Colorado game, the comeback by Vegas in that game was riveting, but I do think it raises a question about someone tangentially related to the Bruins. We'll get to that. NBA playoffs. Knicks have punched their ticket to the finals. All NBA teams were announced over the weekend. Jaylen Brown had something to say about that. He was second team All NBA. We'll get to that. And we'll take your calls as well. So if you want to hit on one of those early on, by all means do so. We're just going to start with the Red Sox because I have some particular thoughts about this series. You know what I found most offensive about this whole series?
No pun intended. Right?
Okay, yeah, well, right, exactly. No pun intended. Because I felt like many, Michael, that they were starting to play a little bit better.
Yeah.
And that they were turning a corner, and I was hoping that they might be able to actually pitch and defend their way into the race and actually play some meaningful baseball games here during the summer, and then they go up against the Twins and they throw up on themselves. So here's the part that struck me about that series with the Twins. They had a 4-0 lead on Friday night after the first inning. 4-0. And then they led the game 6-3, and they blew it. On Saturday, they were down 2-0 early. They cut it to 2-1, and then they cut it to 2-1 in the inning where Wilson Contreras got thrown out at the plate.
Right.
And that started the whole sort of thing with the benches emptying, and Caratini and Contreras had words with one another. And not that there was ever a threat of a brawl coming out of that, although you never know when Contreras is involved, because he feels
that's
like...
right.
He feels like yeah,
that's his lane.
Human tinderbox.
He enjoys that.
Right? Human tinderbox. But the point is, the dugout's empty, 2-1, now you got a ball game. They go out in the next half inning, give up 2 runs, now they're down 4-1, they lose 4-2. Then the game on Sunday played in horrible weather. Garrett Whitlock comes in the middle of the game where he almost never does. Tracy puts him in there. He blows a lead. The Red Sox give it up and then get another man thrown out at the plate when Connor Falefa hits the ball off the left field wall. So they found ways to lose these games. All of these games decided by 1 or 2 runs. This is a team that wants to play. The whole series was decided by 4 runs.
Right.
Might have been 5. Might have been 2 2-run losses and 1 1-run loss. So all the games were close. All the games were winnable. In 2 of the games, the Red Sox held the lead after the midway point of the game. They had every opportunity to win 2 or 3 of those games this weekend. They won 0.
So your problem is
they're losers.
Right. Besides being losers, the games are close, which is what they're supposed to. This is where the Red Sox are supposed to. They're supposed to thrive here.
This is their model.
Hey, we're going to keep it close. We're going to prevent runs. We got good starting pitching. We got good relievers, and we're going to win games 3-2, 4-3, 2-1, whatever it is. And they get in these 1-run and 2-run games, and they throw up on themselves.
Bingo.
Because in theory they're built this way, but they're really not. They really don't. They don't really have what it takes to do this. Now, you mentioned Tracy. I just want to get just parenthetically. I just want to get this in and see what your take is on it. You said Tracy, went to Whitlock and usually doesn't go to him in that point in the game. Do you think that Tracy is making these decisions on his own, or do you think Tracy, with all due respect, is a puppet?
I think he's a puppet.
He's a puppet.
Yeah,
right.
I think that decision was probably planned out.
So all of them.
Correct.
Because what they
correct.
Because why switch if you're switching managers, you're certainly schematically you're not really doing any. You don't really have a lot of wiggle room to make some changes because the roster is what it is. But Alex Cora is doing things that you don't necessarily like, so you bring in somebody with no experience, no major league experience, and say, all right, you've got the job on an interim basis. But if you're an interim manager, then think about it. If you're an interim manager, what are you going to do? If the team, you got 2 options to keep the job. You got Morgan Magic, where they go on like some 12-game winning streak, and what was it, 18 of 20 or something ridiculous?
Yep. I think it was 21 out of 22.
Okay, 21 out of 22. All right, so that's how you keep the job. Or you do what they tell you to do. So they certainly didn't go on a 12-game winning streak. Now we're in a case where Chad Tracy is going to do whatever they tell him to do. And all the stuff that he trots out there is stuff that I'm sure Craig Breslow and his soldiers said to Alex Cora, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Why don't you do that? And Cora's like, I'll try some of it, but I'm not doing that. I'm not, I've won a World Series. How about you guys? You win a World Series as a manager? I know what I'm doing. And so now because I want to criticize Tracy. I do, but I know what's happening. I know he's a symbol. He is the face of really the Operation Breslow.
The word you're looking for is puppet.
Well, he is.
Okay, puppet. So again, I don't blame Chad Tracy's in a horrible spot
At all.
No, not really.
So he gets a pass on everything.
Yeah. He's been thrown. I mean, I don't want to say everything. If he does something really stupid, then,
yeah.
There are some things he should be able to do. But, I look at them now, Michael, and I say, if the whole idea is run prevention, then you better be able to win close, low-scoring games. They scored 6 on Friday night, and they couldn't hold it down. And when you want to play those kinds of games, and this is obvious, you have to play good defense, run the bases well, move runners over, manufacture runs, can't get thrown out at the plate, no stupid decisions. Everything's got to be airtight. And yet, in the minor leagues, they're teaching launch angle, so they want home runs at the big leagues, even though they're not equipped for it. So they don't bunt, they don't advance runners, they get thrown out on the bases. There was a stretch early in the year, I don't know if you remember this, where Alex Cora was asked about the running attack because there was a game in there somewhere. I remember we played the sound. Maybe I'll ask Jimmy maybe if we can find it later. But there was a comment from Cora where someone said to him after a game, you seem to run a little bit more today. And Cora took offense to the question. And he said, it's because we had a lead. We had a lead. Finally, we had a lead. Or something like that. As if to say, you can't run when you're behind. Not getting on. Right. You can't run when you're behind because if we run into outs, we're going to kill ourselves. We can't play that way. And early on when Tracy took over, you know what happened? They ran more. And so I think that came from the front office.
This is all coming from the front office?
Yeah, so I think the whole thing was we're going to play this way because not that it was their plan. Chris Gasper has made this point. It was not their plan to play, run prevention, tight, move station to station, move the runners baseball, fundamental baseball. That was not their plan, but they defaulted to it because they didn't sign a right-handed bat.
Well, Murray's going to get his wish then. Murray, you're going to get your wish. You said you were glad they got swept and you don't like ownership and all this stuff. Well, I don't think ownership is going to sell. They're going to hold on to this thing, this golden goose. They're going to protect this forever. But Craig Breslow did you a favor. Maybe he was forced into this by Sam Kennedy. Sam Kennedy, hey, wait a minute. Hey, this is Craig's decision to fire Alex Cora. So Cora's out. We got 135 games. I remember the quote from Breslow. We got 135 games to turn this thing around. All right, so if you don't turn it around in 135 games and it's not the roster and Alex Cora is gone, well, it must be you.
Yeah, he'll be next.
Bruh, it must be you.
And that's what you should be
So
rooting
that's what's
for.
going to happen.
Yeah, because they're 8 games under 500 for the 5th time this season. So I don't want to hear that this team's competitive going forward. They're losers. And what they do is lose, especially at home. The home part's extra embarrassing.
It's just crazy.
They are no, Murray, loser is the word. That's what you got for a baseball team, a loser organization that finds ways to lose. And, oh, by the way, just quickly, Jarren Duran, you remember the big series he had in Kansas City?
Oh, yes. Yeah, no, he's heating up.
Couple big homers. That's my guy.
Did you notice him this weekend?
No.
Looking.
You know why? 2 for 13, 6 strikeouts. Including go ahead, Michael, go.
Yeah, including one in the game.
Yeah.
You can't look at that. Why do you? Doesn't that drive you crazy? Of all the things in sports, it's got to be in your top 5. Looking at strike 3 to end an inning is frustrating. To end a game at strike 3, what are you doing? What are you expecting? Why are you fooled in that situation?
And you know what's an even greater indignity than taking a called third strike to end the game? challenging it and losing the challenge.
Right.
How's that? Talk about a loser move. This is what they are. 617-779-0985. Red Sox win 3 in Kansas City, come home, lose 3 against the Minnesota Twins, and now the Braves come into town. There's plenty to pick up at this team. We'll go wherever you want to go today. 617-779-0985 on Felger and Mazz with Michael Holley.
Felger and Mazz continues on the Sports Hub.
And Justin Slayton looking for the put-away pitch. And a high fly ball in the left center field. That's going to carry. That's way back there. That ball is way out of here. Powering their way back in the game. There's a high drive left field. That is way up there. That ball is into the monster seats. That's a 2-run homer for Austin Martin, his 2nd home run of the season. And Slayton getting knocked around. Minnesota leads at 7-6.
Couple of 2-run homers now. All of a sudden, you're trailing.
Red Sox get 6 runs at Fenway tonight. Can't win the game. Liner into the gap. Out there in right center. That'll bring at least 1. Gasper is in. Here comes Contreras. Trying to score. A throw to the plate. Here's the tag. A collision. He is out at home. And in there for strike 3. Went to the sweeper to end the ball game. A challenge.
Top of the zone.
Yep, it is strike 3. Whitlock's 1-1. Line drive, base hit into left field. Another run is in. Throw home. Bobbled at home plate by Narvaez. Let a couple of runs come in to score there. Minnesota with a 6-4 lead. Kiner Falefa got a chance to be a hero today. High fly ball, left field. That's deep. All the way to the wall. It's off the green. In to score Sogard. Here comes Wong trying to score. Here's the play at the plate. The tag. He is out at home. And the first one from the righty. Swing a little looper into right field. Coming on Martin. He will make the catch. And any perceived momentum from that last road trip washed away in a 3-game sweep by Minnesota.
This is corny. I admit it. Corny. I looked it up in the dictionary, the word loser. Because, someone says, yeah, you're a loser. You're talking about someone who's like down on his luck. It's got that sort of thing, okay? But then there is the actual literal definition of the word. A loser is a person or team or entity that experiences defeat or fails to win a contest or a game. Simply the opposite of a winner. Now that's funny. Okay. So can I give you some examples of this?
Of loserdom?
Yeah, loserdom. Let me give you some examples. Right. Okay, first of all, 8-17 at home.
All right, that's the biggest loser stat right there.
8-17.
That's a mic drop stat.
At home. How about close games? Losers lose games like that.
All right.
So I looked it up today. Games decided by 2 runs or less, which describes all of the games over the weekend, Michael. Again, 2 2-run games, 1 1-run game. The Red Sox had leads in 2 of the 3. The other one was 2-1 going into the middle of the innings. They lost them all. Games decided by 2 runs or less. The Red Sox record this year, 11-30. 268 winning percentage. That is 24th in Major League Baseball.
How's that only 24th in Major League Baseball? But keep going.
I know, unbelielievable.
I mean,
right?
11-30.
Okay, because and
it's only 24th in Major League Baseball.
Right, which tells you how bad baseball sucks this year. Okay, really, there are a lot of bad teams out there, and they still suck. Games decided by 2 runs or less, 2 or 1 run, at home. 6-17, 261. They're actually worse in those games at home than they are on the road. 26th in Major League Baseball. Games decided by 2 runs or less, away. 5-13, 278. That's 22nd in Major League Baseball. Extra innings, 1-3. That is
not so bad.
That is 26th.
Okay.
In Major League Baseball.
Only 1-3.
Again, based on winning percentage. What I find interesting is they've only gone to extra innings 4 times. Okay,
I mean, that's what losers do.
That's exactly right.
They're not in a position to win a lot of games.
Okay, so now let me give you a couple of stats. Just let me give you a couple of more that I think illustrate. If I said to you, how's the Red Sox pitching been this year? You would say, well, all in all, pretty good.
I'd say good. I'd say probably slightly better than middle of the pack.
Okay,
I'd say like 12th.
So right now they're 9th in the majors in ERA.
Okay.
Okay, 9th in the entire major leagues. And I'm going to look up their bullpen specifically. Just give me a second here. I should have had this before the show. Their bullpen is ranked overall in ERA. They're ranked 3rd. Would you say they have a good bullpen?
Statistically, yeah. I sound like Kenny Atkinson now. Yeah. Oh, statistically, it's great.
Expected.
But no.
Murray, what about you? Do you think they have a good bullpen?
I mean, the back end of it, if you see them.
Chapman.
Yeah.
Okay, so over the weekend, Justin Slayton had a 6-3 lead and gave up 2 two-run home runs and blew that game.
Weissert had one.
Weissert was involved in one. Weissert's always involved in one.
He exists to blow games.
Okay,
Fire starter.
My paisan, the Italian arsonist, Greg Weissert. Okay, Whitlock blew one. So there's a very simple statistic in baseball. Bullpen losses. Okay, relief losses. The Red Sox have the 5th most in the game with 12. And you say, well, wait a minute, that's deceiving. The offense doesn't score. It puts a lot of pressure on the bullpen. Correct. It also, though, what about when you have, it means that you entered the game with the score tied or you were ahead. You now have to outpitch the other side.
Exactly.
And I understand the Red Sox lineup is garbage.
And it's such a deceptive stat, like bullpen ERA. Like when you ask me, do they have a good bullpen? Yeah, on paper. But okay, if I come in, if I come in with 1 out and a runner on 3rd, and I give up a run, that run is not mine. That's the starter's run. So then I get out of the inning. It looks like I've got a good ERA because I get out of the inning, but I gave up a run. It wasn't mine, but it was to the starter. So, like, that doesn't really tell the story of what you have in a bullpen. I have a question for you. You have all your stats?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I have 2 questions for you, seriously. One, do you think that being thrown out at home, is this a send them in Wendell Kim situation? Or is it an overall, and some of you got that reference, third base coach of the Red Sox back in the day, always waving them in. Send them in Wendell Kim, and they get out of the plate. That's when we paid attention to third base coaches. He was great, though. He was a good sport about it most of the time. Is this...
But before you go on, do you remember the famous line by, I think it was Mike Barnacle, the Globe?
What do you say?
About Wendell Kim? He said if Wendell Kim was an air traffic controller, there'd be fuselage all over Boston Harbor, is what he said. But keep going.
Great line. Is this a third base coach doesn't know what he's doing, has underestimated or overestimated the skills of this team, or is this just an overall philosophy coming from upstairs? Hey, we need to be more aggressive on the base pass.
Okay, so I think this one was a bad decision. I think that they're desperate to score runs and that they pushed the envelope. And the conditions were bad. I get it. They got to field the ball cleanly. The ball was wet. I'm talking about the game on Sunday.
Yeah.
Now. Okay, the game on Sunday. The one that Contreras got thrown out on, which we'll get to in a minute, where he almost started the brawl. Dude, slide. Slide.
Yeah.
Like, what? How come you didn't slide? It makes it harder for the catcher to tag you. Slide. So, like, I put that one entirely on Contreras.
Yeah, and that was another quick question I have. I know you want to get to calls. The other quick question I have for you, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but do you think with the Red Sox broadcasters, I can sense frustration, whether it's on radio or on Nesson. I can sense the frustration. When you work there, did they flat out tell you, don't be negative?
No.
They never told you that?
No.
But did you get the sense that, okay, they're not telling me not to be negative, but if you told it like it is, if they came out and said, look, I don't think anybody said that on the broadcast, why aren't you sliding? What are you doing? Or that's a bad job, that's bad location, or Jaron Duran, what are you thinking of? When you say those things, maybe they're not telling you that you can't say that, but once you say that, you feel like, okay, it's not comfortable around here.
So, Michael,
they don't like this.
Here's what I would tell you. I think the whole culture there is, and I'm really talking about Nesson more than I am the radio.
Yeah.
Because I've never done games on the radio.
Yeah.
Okay, but I think the whole culture there is fear. I think they're afraid. I think the people that work there are afraid
to just keep it real.
Yeah,
just say like this is what's going on.
Yeah, I think that they are afraid of saying something that is going to upset ownership, and they might have good reason. I didn't spend a lot of time in the building. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there were people walking around the building telling them this is how we're going to do it or this is how we want to do it, and so it manifests itself through the staff more than it does the people on the air.
It's too bad. Don't you get?
I wasn't in there a lot.
But don't you feel from all of your time? You grew up here, your time in Boston and in New England. Don't you think that most fans, even as much as you all make fun of green teamers, I think most fans can appreciate somebody who says, "No, you think that's good. That's not good." Or they can't do that. The best teams in baseball, the best teams in basketball, hockey, whatever, don't do it this way. Don't you think that most fans appreciate that more than the, hey, I'm just going to swallow this one. I'm just going to keep quiet. I'm going to sit on my hands.
I do.
Right?
Yeah. Now,
and I think ownership, if you're paying attention, you get more credit if you allow your people you got some smart people, you got some passionate people in your fan base. Don't talk down to them. Don't BS them. I think you'll get more credit if you allow your people just to tell it like it is.
Well, Michael, I think like you think, unfortunately, most teams don't approach it that way. And I don't, I think most teams in most markets are soft. And I mean the coverage of them internally. And that's the way their owners want it, and that's the way they're going to do it. And I'm with you. I mean, to me, keep it real. So, you can look at a team and say, here's where the flaws are. The problem when you're bad is that everything becomes about big picture. This is just my 2 cents. So, what good does it do to talk about the specifics of a game if you are 18-36? Okay, you won one. Yay. Now you're 19-36. So once you dig yourself the hole, because it's a big picture sport, the games matter when your team is good. When you're not good, the games don't matter. And so what I took out of the games this weekend, again, was big picture. They found ways to lose. That's what they do. They excel at it. And if we're going to talk about the lack of home run power, which is significant, I have a question for you when we come back about teams who don't hit home runs. Okay, we'll do that. Murray will get you caught up. I promise we'll get to your phone calls. I put you off until now. I apologize. We'll get to you as soon as we come back. I'm talking to, Nick and Holden, Ryan and Waltham, who've been waiting almost the entirety of the show so far. So sit tight. We'll get to you when we come back on Felger and Mazz.
Felger and Mazz continue on the Sports Hub.
Much different feeling than 3 days ago when you got here.
Yeah.
How would you characterize the weekend?
I think tough, just because you feel like obviously you're in position to win a couple of them, and then you battling back on the others, and you feel like you're right there in the ninth, and it ends up being a sweep. So it's tough. It's a tough feeling. Obviously, we're riding high coming in. They grinded. I give them credit. They didn't quit. So yeah, it's tough.
How would you just describe the stops and starts with momentum in your month or so?
Yeah, I mean we've had some of that. We obviously had the sweep in Detroit. Looks like we're getting going. And then obviously the sweep in Kansas City. We played good baseball at times this weekend. It's just there's a few different things that don't swing our way, and you come up a run short. So we just got to keep fighting. There's nothing else to do but keep fighting.
Well, they're not going to cancel the schedule. You have no choice. You keep playing. That's Chad Tracy. We were talking about him earlier. There's one question we didn't put in there. But I'll just tell you quickly. He was asked about Connor Falefa hit the double on Sunday with 2 men on. It was 6-4 at the time. 2 outs. Hit a double halfway up the wall. The second out was the out at the plate. So there was 1 out at the time. The second out, was it Contreras who got thrown out at home? In any case.
Connor Wong.
Thank you, Jimmy. Connor Wong got thrown out at the plate. If you watch Connor Falefa after he hit the ball, he watched it. He thought it was a home run on a cold, rainy day, and the ball hit halfway up the left field wall. Go back and watch it.
Right.
So he took 2 or 3 steps out of the box and remembered that only the tying runs were on base. Okay? He would be the winning run, meaning if the ball didn't leave the ballpark, he shortchanged himself and his team on the base running. So Tracy was asked whether Falefa could have made it to third on the play at the plate. And he said, well, I wasn't watching. There's too much going on in that play. I haven't seen the video yet. which tells me
yes.
Right. Exactly right, Michael.
Protection.
Exactly right. And this is one of those little things I'm talking about. So you're down 2. You are the winning run. The ball hit halfway up the wall because it was cold, it was rainy, it was windy. You'd had to shot it out of a cannon to get it out of that ballpark on Sunday. It was a horrible day all day. And Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, never to be mistaken for Kyle Schwarber or Aaron Judge, who can hit it through a tornado, stood.
Kind of gazed at it.
He did. He watched it and kind of
little masterpiece theater. Look at what I've done here.
He did. He just walked out of the batter's box. And so, I look at that and say, loser play. They got thrown out at the plate. And then if the runner didn't score, the point is he could have been on third. And you're down 1 with 2 outs. And then he got balked to third base. Now, I don't know if the balk would have happened again or not. But the fact that he had his head up his ass didn't help.
Okay, you bring up these situations, Mazz, and I know it's easy to say that the Red Sox are playing better under Chad Tracy. Technically, they have a better record under Tracy than they did under Cora. They're not playing better though. There is nothing I've seen from the Red Sox where I say, oh, I see what you're doing there. Oh, that translates. That's good. You keep doing that, you're going to be a good team. I don't see anything. I don't see them runners in scoring position. I don't see any base running. I don't see great stellar defensive plays. I don't see anything that they're doing differently now that makes me say they're going to be all right in the long term.
You're not going to get any argument from me.
No.
I'll give you a couple of more stats. I tease some stats. I'll give them to you in a minute. Nick is in Holden. Actually wants to talk to Jim Murray about the Atlanta Falcons,
What?
I think, of all things. Go ahead, Nick.
What?
Yeah, sorry to go off topic, guys, but got a big thought on my mind. I've been thinking, big Atlanta Falcons guy. And I want to see what Jim Murray has to say about this, but I think Michael Penix has the arm talent to be a top 3 quarterback in the league for years to come.
Yeah, your options are Tua or Michael Penix. They're both lefty quarterbacks. I would equate this to trying to choose between Pizza Hut or Little Caesars. Both are going to fool you into thinking they'll get the job done. Both will let you down because they both absolutely suck. So good luck with either of those bums this year as you go about 7-9 or 7-10, whatever the hell what the scheduling is now.
Murray, he said Michael Penix top 3.
You'd be lucky if he gets top 10.
Top 3.
Top 10
you got
ever.
Your 3. We all
he
know
can't even
who
stay
the
healthy.
Right. 3.
I can't believe the guy called to talk to you about Michael Penix.
Michael Penix.
I thought this was going to be a guy who listened to you in Atlanta and had
12 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but then at least there would have been a connection.
Yeah.
He's that much of a Michael Penix fan that he had to call you?
Yeah. Hey, Murray, remember that bit you did? I love that 12 years ago. What was your best thing in Atlanta, Murray? What was the best thing you did?
Oh, geez. I don't even remember. It's been so long.
Detachable Penix. Ryan in Waltham. Ryan, what do you got?
Hey, I wanted to talk about the trade value on Jarren Duran. I think the Red Sox, and talking about losers, Craig Breslow, the business side of it have handled Jarren Duran's trade value absolutely horrendous. They could have traded him in the offseason for a decent package. This is after years of could have traded him. But I'm curious where you guys think his trade value is at right now and if they would sell low.
Okay. Michael?
Nothing. Right now? No. Look, you could have, and this depends on how you viewed Jarren Duran a few years ago, All-Star Game, MVP, tremendous season. He would have almost 50 doubles. He had like 14 triples. I mean, it was just a crazy season for Jarren Duran. So his trade value is high, and it's just a matter of, do you think Jarren Duran really is this guy, or is this a season for the ages, and should you take advantage of it? So that's the all-time high point. But they really could have moved him. They had an opportunity to get Joe Ryan.
They've had that with a lot of guys.
Yeah, so Joe Ryan for Jarren Duran, I think that's a good trade for the Red Sox. Make that deal. Now, he's still not hitting 200. So, I mean, what are you going to get for Jarren Duran right now? I think his trade value is at an all-time low. And if you can get him, he was trending in that direction with those homers in Kansas City. If you can get him up to, this sounds ridiculous, you can get him up to like a 220 or 225, and he's showing some consistency, especially with the power, then you might be able to get something decent for him. But right now, nothing.
I mean, now look, the overall batting average in the game is down, so everybody's batting.
But not down that low.
No, they're not. No. 241, I think, is average. I didn't check to see where.
So get him to 230. Get him to 230, and you might be in business.
Yeah, something like that. But again, you're never going to get the value you would have gotten for him 2 years ago. And by the way, at that time, his salary was also cheaper. He had good value at that time. They blew it. They blow it on most guys. Stone and Natick. Go ahead, Stone.
So it seems if a bad team wants to get back on track, all they have to do is play the Red Sox. Your thoughts?
True.
Well said.
True.
Succinct.
Unless you're worse
Stone.
than them. Unless you're like the Kansas Cities of the world or someone like
Kansas
that.
City or Detroit. You just mentioned it.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys a simple question. Do you believe you have to hit home runs to score in this day and age?
It'd be nice.
Yes.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah,
I would say
It makes it,
Yeah.
it makes it easier.
Some teams you don't. I mean, if you actually have a little bit more talent, you can hit doubles. You can manufacture runs. The Red Sox can't even hit doubles.
No, they can't do any of it.
No. But yes, ideally, yeah.
Okay, so look, I'm not. I agree. By the way, who do you think the three? What's the right word? Weakest teams are when it comes. Which three teams have hit the fewest home runs in baseball this year? One of them, you know.
All right, so the Red Sox are one of them.
Red Sox are dead last, I believe. They might be 29th.
Are the other two Detroit and Kansas City?
No.
Brewers?
Actually, I take it back. The Red Sox are 29th. The Brewers are 30th. Okay? Who do you think is 28th?
Wow, that's a good one.
Tampa Bay?
Tampa Bay is correct, Jimmy Stewart. Very good.
The best record in baseball?
So, Milwaukee is 34. I'm sorry, Tampa Bay is 34-17. Milwaukee is 31-20. Combined, that's 65-37. Milwaukee has hit fewer home runs than the Red Sox. Tampa Bay has hit 5 more than the Red Sox. And in runs scored, the Red Sox are dead last. Milwaukee is 7th, despite having, again, the fewest home runs in the sport.
That's amazing.
Milwaukee is 7th in the majors in runs scored, and Tampa Bay, despite ranking 28th in the sport in home runs, ranks 10th in runs scored.
Well, Milwaukee has David Hamilton, so that's the difference right there.
And both of those teams, I'll have you know, rank in the top 3 of sacrifice bunts. So do you understand the point?
Right, they know how
David
to do
Hamilton.
it. They know how to play the game.
They play the game the way they have to play it because they recognize the value of one run. And both of those teams can pitch. So they look at it and say, well, no, we're not going to hit a lot of home runs, so we're going to have to scratch out runs. We're going to have to play for one run when the opportunity calls for it. We can't get thrown out on the bases. We have to bunt guys over. We got to steal and take extra bases when they're there, aside from the pitching and defense, which is obvious. So why can they do it and the Red Sox can't?
Because they're committed to it. That's really what they're about. And it's something, it's an organizational philosophy starting before they get to the major leagues. I mean, Tampa, this is just the Tampa DNA. We've been seeing this, Mazz, since Crazy Joe Madden was in Tampa years ago when they actually started to become good in 2008 and get to the World Series that year. In 2009, always around it. They always have a good bullpen. They always, whether a guy is struggling somewhere else or not, he comes to Tampa, he figures it out. They develop those guys. They have good starting pitching. Eventually, those guys get too expensive. They move on. They bring in new starting pitching. They have a lineup where you go, oh, this guy's not that great, but he fits along with maybe a bopper or two. That's just what they do. Now, I like it. I take it from the Red Sox in the regular season. I don't think a team like that can win.
Okay,
I don't think a team like that can win a championship. As a matter of fact, Mazz, the last time a team won it like that, we were probably kids. Like baseball, you can't win like that in baseball in this era. Last year, Milwaukee, they go to the NLCS and they get overwhelmed they get shut down. They get shut down by the Dodgers. And it's just great pitching. It was just great pitching. It was not, they didn't have enough. They don't have, hey, we're going to get 2 guys on. Somebody's going to come up and give you the Earl Weaver and the 3-run homers. Give me a 3-run homer to take control of the game. You got to have that in the playoffs. And so this is great for the regular season. It doesn't work in the postseason.
So, but the Red Sox can't even do it in the regular season. But they can't do it in the regular
season. I take it for the regular season, just for entertainment, just for some summer entertainment.
I mean, Tampa Bay and Milwaukee, Michael, have the 2nd and 4th best records in the game. top 4 in the game. And you can say, well, Milwaukee plays in the National League Central, too. That's true. Tampa plays in the AL East.
Getting it done.
They're in your division. So, they have a clear idea of how they have to play, and the Red Sox don't. And this is where the money becomes a problem. Okay, because, and I say for the Red Sox, they want to sell this whole idea, but everybody knows they have the money. And so it's a hard thing to sell, not just to the fans and the media, to the players. It's a hard thing to sell to the players.
They got a philosophy. So it started off with the money with Tampa. Then it became a philosophy. In other words, I think if Tampa Bay had some endowment, somebody came in and said, we're going to give you an extra $35 million to spend on your roster, I still think they'd play the same way. They'd have like some of those same principles because that's just who they are as an organization. If they got more money, their pitching wouldn't suck all of a sudden. They got more money, they wouldn't have a bad bullpen. I think they still use openers, which I hate personally. I don't know how you feel about them. I hate openers.
Hate it.
Yeah, so I think there are certain things that they do. And now the extreme of Tampa is the Dodgers. Because,
of course,
he went there. What's his
Friedman.
Friedman, thank you. Andrew Friedman goes there, and he's like, oh, my God, there's no budget. It's unlimited. I can get anybody I want. But they also have a philosophy. Part of their philosophy is get as many damn good players as you can and pay them whatever you need to be paid, but they still have a way of doing business. I think that's where the Red Sox are suffering. They don't spend as much as they used to, but they don't really have a clear idea of who they are.
I mean, think about it. Again, 3 teams have hit the fewest home runs in baseball. 2 of them are really good. 1 of them sucks. Which one do you think the Red Sox are?
Which one are you? Who you got?
I mean, that's an easy one, I think. Holy crap, do they suck. Wow, what losers. They find ways to lose. Take a break here. Murray will catch up on headlines when we come back. We'll get into the Patriots, who start OTAs tomorrow down in Foxborough. And I know Michael Holley has some strong thoughts on them as well.